Morning. Hey, it didn't even show that you were in here. Good morning, Randy. I guess sometimes you're in here and I don't even know it. All right, we had a move yesterday in after hours. I didn't even research yet why we had the strong move in after hours. I think it had something to do with either earnings, probably that's what it is, or there was a Trump speech near the closing of the market yesterday. So it was one or the other or both. And anyway, the market has rallied since then. And I mean, we're just so far from being concerned about those recession worries again. And that is a little bit concerning too, because, we're still working our way up to this 200 moving average, which we can completely reject off of. We just bounce right off of it. It could break through and then fake out, come back down, whatever the case is, come back, deflect, and continue to not work out well. It is a possibility out there. But I mean, yesterday and then in after hours and lately, the reaction on the market has been really wonderful. It's been really good. So, you know, I guess that's enough to erase recession fears. I think that probably what happened was there were some good earnings yesterday. Let me check the chart again as far as what earnings came out yesterday, and we'll take a look at them, or this morning, but it was mostly yesterday. So yesterday was Wednesday, so we were probably talking about Meta, Robinhood, and Microsoft and Qualcomm. But let's take a look at those. Which one had the positive effect on the market? It looks like it could have been Meta. Meta is up 8%. Not too bad. 7. Microsoft. Also Microsoft good. And it is up 8.5%. And Robinhood is not what affected the whole market. It does seem to have had a good earnings result as well, and it is up. And Qualcomm. Can't remember the ticker on that at the moment. Let's see. QCOM, yeah. Oh, actually, and QCOM is down. So, but the main ones here are Microsoft and Meta, two of the Magnificent Seven, reporting so far that have positive earnings. I think Netflix reported last week and it was really good. So far the Magnificent Seven are just looking great. Let's see if there's any upgrades on these. See what analysts think. So 14 minutes ago, maintained at overweight by JP Morgan, raises price target on Microsoft to 525. Upbeat forecast for cloud business. Are you hearing me? Am I cutting out? Good morning, Marcus. Microsoft price target to 490 from 475. It's a slew of upgrades. So analysts like it. And the other one was Meta. Plans to sell 106 million of Meta stock. Maintained at buy by Citigroup. Maintained at overweight by JP Morgan. Adjust price target to 670 from 650. Another firm 780. So a lot of upgrades. Jumped strong. Quarterly earnings beat. Is maintained at buy. Okay, so Meta and Microsoft is some of the absolute most leading tech edge companies moving forward for the fucking world. Did well, have done well. So that did lift the outlook on the market. Sounds good so far. Okay, good. So that did lift the market this morning. All right, well, we're going to be opening in about 4 minutes. I do have a position in Sony, which I got back in the other day. However, just right as Sony hit the top there of this breakout and was starting to follow through and show good signs. Oh, by the way, whoops. So my outlook about the recession is, well, let's just see where she goes. Tiptoe back in, and let's just see how the market moves and stocks. Well, I guess we'll continue to follow charts. However, yesterday we did have that scary moment when we had a recession print and the whole thing was just collapsing. And I just defensively cut names, and that was perfectly fine. You can't bank on there being such a positive rebound. There's just no way off of those. So I mean, made the right moves, but it is what it is. So anyway, moving here. So Sony is one that's down in pre-market on the news that they're going to spin off. They are likely to spin off their semiconductor business in order to improve their margins. So in other words, the semiconductor end is not doing too good, I guess. They want to separate that out, or vice versa. And amid competitive margins, two competitive margins to handle. So I think that's not really a great sign. That's not really a great news report. This is like a once in a lifetime type of deal with Sony. They're going to divide. They're going to spin off something. That's whether it's positive or negative. Okay, that's cataclysmic news for Sony. Okay, so you always got to remember, cataclysmic news is important to pay attention to. So, yeah, I'm looking to get out. We're going to see how the market reacts to this, because it could be a positive reaction. I mean, it depends on which way this goes. I mean, are they getting rid of a burden, or are they causing Sony stock ticker to be left with only the burden? In other words, are they spinning off the burden into its own thing, or are they putting that thing into its own category because it's incredible, and they're just going to leave everything else burdened? I mean, I think there are logical choices for them to unburden. If I have to fucking say something that Kamala Harris was saying, they have to unburden the existing ticker, because I presume that's probably the most important part. But anyway, I'm not an analyst of Sony. I don't follow all their news, so I don't really know the particulars. I'm just going to go by, I'm just in a little trade here. It's not that big a deal, guys. So I'm just going to go by, how the thing plays out today. And I'll be watching, and I may or may not cut Sony. Let's see, what other earnings do we have this morning? We had Humana, Caterpillar, Vulcan, a lot of industrials. Oh no, that was yesterday morning. Eli Lilly, Roblox, CVS, MasterCard, Sirius, McDonald's. I heard McDonald's did not do good. There goes Meta. We probably will buy some Meta this morning. Let's go take a look at that chart in just 1 second. Amazon reports after hours, by the way. But first, let's take a look at Lilly. Okay, Lilly did not have a good reaction. Roblox did have a good reaction, and I believe, we were in this stock going into earnings until the recession alarms went off, and then we cut it. But I mean, that's fine. Gambling right before ER is not the greatest idea anyway, but it was the right decision to be in it, as it turned out. CVS, and we may get Roblox and Meta. CVS is a breakaway gap as well. And stock, but we might be able to get something out of that as well. We might be getting into all those names: CVS, Meta, and Microsoft. We're going to watch all of them. These are 5-minute candlestick charts. You may be getting in them on a 5-minute opening range breakout. Here we go. Market is open. I did get Avgo just now. Wow, there goes Microsoft. I might just grab some right off of that. I mean, who doesn't like Microsoft? If it were going to go to the low of the day, that'd be 427. So we're looking at about $10 of risk. I'll go for it. Oh, yeah, I'll go for it. Meta pulling back a little bit. Stop is low of the day, 427 on Microsoft. Meta not really as strong. Okay, TJX, let's take a look at that. And Avgo. I mean, it's right above our alert. If Avgo does something good, if it does well, we should probably take a position on that. It looks like it might be. Let's get back to CVS. CVS. Meta. CVS is not acting right. Avgo, however, is acting all right. Okay, so we will grab Avgo if it breaks 199, okay? 190 Avgo, 199. And if it does, then we'll probably take it to a stop of 95 or 197. Probably 195, but we get out at 197. Size it to 195, but exit at 197. And Randy, if you do PCSs, if you do PCSs, if you're still doing PCSs, obviously Microsoft looking good here, but on ER release day, there can be such a huge drop in volatility that they're not profitable. So you got to do the math. You got to do your typical PCS math. But if it checks out, yeah, it's good. It's a good reaction. Meta's not having such a good reaction, so we're not going to get in that. And Avgo is probably not happening either. It looks like it might break down. The market itself is breaking down. Microsoft has yet to really react. Microsoft is staying strong. Market is wanting to fill in a little bit. VIX, by the way. Wow, the VIX is into 24s. That's excellent. We like that. Oh, let's see. The back on Sony is happening. I think I'm going to have to liquidate. I'm going to get out of Sony. About anything else here? O'Reilly, not exactly following through. Remains to be seen. It's in a fine spot. Okay, this is something that I didn't exactly continue. However, give that some breathing room. Just finally back to Microsoft. Yeah, Microsoft, just the right company to release just the right news. Just the right report. This is going to be, I believe, something that a lot of people pummel money into on this report for the next 3 months, for this quarter, guidance in a week or in a month. Seems to be a really good reason to allocate money into Microsoft. So I think that's what a lot of money managers. The market is holding. Now we have only about 40% breadth and growth, which is not the greatest sign for the day. Not a bad sign overall. I'd say the recessionary print yesterday was the bad sign. Yeah, Randy. On like, but over here on Netflix, okay, it's following through. We had that trade, so we were wildly profitable on Netflix. We got 90% max profit on the PCS, and if you had been in shares, you'd probably still be in, but have taken some profits at 10% gains. It's up 14% from entry. Same thing as Microsoft, exact same style. ER release, pivot breaking, ER release day. Follow through, and then this is the follow through. I'm talking about that follow through. I'm talking about nice follow through for entry, and then hell of a follow through. And that's extended now. You should definitely have taken some profits there. With the stop right down here, probably on ER day. maybe 5%. What is that? 1.5%. And then now you're up 10 times that, 15%. You should probably have taken a minimum half your position off. 15x risk. Actually, what is that now? Microsoft is pulling back. Microsoft is pulling back along with the market. But is off to a great start, relative strength speaking wise. We'll have to cut that at 427 if it's just going to totally reverse on them. We do have only about 20% breadth now, so the market is deteriorating is the perfect word. Walmart's doing fine. We got that position yesterday. Riley is not doing so great, and neither is MCK. Both in an okay spot. There's really no. Walmart, obviously, it makes sense. Staple, doing open here. And how's hanging out where it's hanging out? Definitely was not good news, though. Perhaps during this next earnings report, have to deliver bad news. Just giving everyone a heads up to be forthright. Margins are not doing too well. We're going to have to spin off something here in order to improve. And that's not the way it works. You know what I mean? Either you're a company in demand or you're a company cutting back. You know? LRN just got alert. And it's coming through this area here. I like it. Up at 138. $5 a risk. LRN. I've been waiting to get into this. This will be $5 a risk. All right, that's exactly where I got in. This is probably not a PCS type of situation, but you can look at risk. This has been a very nice long base, and it's been back and filling on breakout after earnings. There's some good signs here on L. Microsoft is showing some resilience on this market pullback. Meta's not having it. Meta may pull the market down. Let's take a look at Apple and Netflix and see how they're reacting. I mean, Apple's showing a lot of relative strength, actually. Apple's pretty positive looking. Amazon, which reports in after hours, it's doing okay. It did well in extended hours. Some profits being taken, and that makes sense before ER. Google goes straight across pretty much with increased volatility. The VIX is hanging out at 24.25. I'm missing one. NVIDIA is pulling back pretty hard. So NVIDIA and Meta are pulling the indexes down. Meanwhile, Microsoft and Apple are remaining fairly strong in the face of it, with perhaps Apple showing the most strength off of the open. However, Microsoft definitely has the most strength overnight relative to. Let's see. Let's take a look at some more names here. Sprouts Farmers Market, definitely on our list. Oh, this is great. coming right up and over on earnings, a pivot this morning. This is idyllic. I'm getting in. I love it. With very little overhead supply, I'd go stop to low of the day, 165. It's at 172, so $7 of risk. In on Sprouts Farmers Market. Not looking to just like get into everything, but I mean, some of these are really good, whilst others are looking like they are on the chopping block today, like MCK and or O'Reilly are not performing super well, but we'll see where everything goes soon enough. I literally can't buy anything more right now, margin wise, but look at that chart on Sprouts Farmers Market, and we've had this back with just straight up strength and right into positive earning release reaction, which overcame a negative reaction last time on positive earnings. Usually that's about guidance. So this is likely to follow through, and that's the trade. If it doesn't, then we get out, and if it does, then we have a winner. But the overhead here could easily get blasted. This. And then it's off to the races. And that distance from here to there is about 7.4%. My risk to stop on this is 3.87% on the actual stock itself. But of course, the risk in the portfolio is just 1%. Okay, a little bit of bounce from Microsoft and Meta and Avgo across the market, but not on the VIX and not on the averages. But we are seeing that from Microsoft, Avgo, probably Apple, which acted very strong. Yeah, Apple's doing quite well off of the open. Netflix is doing okay. Amazon, did it bounce? No, Amazon did not bounce yet, and is still dragging things down. And Nvidia was not looking too good either. Nvidia has found a little bit of a bottom though. Sideways, Google has broken down as far as the open goes. Google and Nvidia and Amazon not doing well, while Apple, Microsoft, and Meta. How is Meta doing? Meta's not doing well either. So 4 out of 7 not doing well, but Microsoft and Apple doing well. And I'm missing one there. And I don't know. There's the 7, keeping track of the Magnificent 7 all morning, every day, and trying to remember. Can you remember 7 names over and over and over and over? Well, they use an acronym that sometimes they create, but right now it's not so good. It's like mimic. What's your input on the PCS on BCSX this morning? Been waiting on it to step back a bit. I see. I might not even like it. Let's see. BCSX as a chart. Oh no. Are you talking about BC? That doesn't exist. You talking about BCS? Because that's on my list. And BSX as well. I don't know which one you're talking about. There is no BCSX. BSX. Okay. Boston Scientific. Okay, that's what I'm on right now. Okay. Are you looking to do PCS or shares? Okay, so it had this earnings report, which was not positive, but what was positive was the follow through breakout. And now, as a matter of fact, it is holding sort of mini high type flag on that report. But look at this breakout line that I've made here. I want to see it get up and over that. It'll be, too late if it makes a big move from there on that day and you wanted to get in, it's too late. You might want to have an alert. But I would want to buy this on a little cheaty little spot right here perhaps. Or more ideally, I'd like to just see it break above 103.50. And that's where I'd buy. But you got to be on the ball, or you could already have an order in, which is a buy stop order. Buy stop at 103.51. I've won. Sit there for a few days, so when you're not looking, boom, you get your fill. And you just maybe keep an eye on anything that you have buy stop orders on every day. You just go in. It's just that maybe your timing isn't perfect looking at them, but you don't let them get away from you. So you set a buy stop order, and then eyes it and everything, get it all ready. The stop looks like 101, 150, and below any of this stuff here. Well, after the breakout day, probably 50, 101, 40. It stopped down in there. It's pretty tight stop. So anyway, it needs to follow through though. It needs to get through 103.50. It happened, or even 103.20, but 103.50 would be nice. It's the rounded number. I may need to cut O'Reilly. Let me take another look at that. No, it's too. The way this morning is going is very interesting. Oh, in fact, the market is bouncing. Let's take a look at our names now. Avgo is breaking out. Okay, we may get Avgo now. I can't, but that's an entry on Avgo right there. Boom. That's a breakaway gap over our alert line. Avgo, that's an entry. And if you can get a stop in at low of the day or low at pre-market lows, that'd be perfect. Pre-market lows, maybe stop at 195. Low of the day, which would be 196.50. But it's an entry. I love it. It's about as low as we could go with positive sentiment. It's not going to get better. Maybe later there'll be a trade on it from 250 to 300, but right now you could get it at 199. Avgo. And Meta has bounced, but that's not enough strength to me. Microsoft may now be coming back up. Be able to see Amazon and all those other ones at the same time too, but I do like to have the S&P 500, use the dollar rates and the VIX up right here. I don't have to. Helps me spot relative strength. Like right now, the market's looking like it's going to break the open and turn green, but the VIX is not. 39. VIX is not. It could, and it could just like instantaneously correlate, but right now we're seeing a little bit of bearish divergence. Market attempts to go green. Did you have any other comments? BSX, yeah. Did that help answer your question on BSX? Yeah, I love that Avgo. Wish I could get in it, but I'm fully out here. I could get it in another account, but yep. Okay. Meta is continuing to lower lows. Netflix bounced. It is strong. We expected that. Google, strong bounce from Google, surprisingly. Apple, Apple's still having this high tight flag off of the open. Pretty nice spot for Apple. Uh, Amazon has definitely bounced. That's the biggest bounce. Now we're on Amazon's pullbacks. So I'd say maybe the bottom's in for the day, at least for a few hours, and for the day. And even O'Reilly, that one that I was thinking of cutting, it's improving nicely. Everything's sort of improving nicely across the board. But is it a bull trap? The VIX would need to get. I mean, if the VIX can drop under 24, that would be just like fantastic. Starting in 23s. Oh man. Market is trying. Microsoft's doing its best as well. Avgo, take a look at that. Yeah. Avgo is doing great. This is a really great spot on Avgo. SFM has pulled back a little bit, but I do believe it's going to fill in today. And then SFM is just announced. That was on earnings. So a very nice reaction from the open from SFM. And it already was a bullish engulfing candle. So there's just a lot of positive energy on SFM this morning and so close to all-time highs. So probably the pullback is just for the fact that the market is now kind of having a nice bounce, the growth market. And so he wants to be in grocery markets, when you can. Microsoft, or let's take a look at Tesla. Oh, there's the other one that I'm missing. Tesla. Tesla had a very nice open, just like Apple. I mean, it looks just like Apple from the open. Very similar. In fact, actually, Tesla's doing better than Apple, but only negligibly. Let's take a look at that Tesla on a big chart here. It's going to have to get over to new recent highs, like 295. That could be an entry. This could be an entry right here, but it could flag in this area for a while. Although it just depends how you feel about it. But you would put your stop at the bottom here of this pivot, 271. Possible to get into it today, under the premise that it's going to shape up in the next few days and then break out of 295 and start to. Yesterday on recessionary breakdown worries. For example, if you were to get in today, a 5% move to the stop. About 25% upside if the trade were to work out. 5-1. Very nice bet. Tesla. But it is contingent on a lot of things working out. The market doing well. The Fed has his interest rate decision today, does he not? Or was that after hours? Maybe that's why the market moved yesterday. Let me go. No, the Fed will. No, when is this? Next week. Fed reports next week. Fed reports next week. I knew that. I just had that confused in my mind. 5 minutes until ISM manufacturing PMI information comes out. 5 minutes. So top of the hour, we'll get that. And then tomorrow morning, we're going to have payrolls and unemployment. So that information will be interesting as well. As next week, On Wednesday, we'll get the Fed decision. Really nothing cataclysmic before that. And then jobless claims the next day. So that's the big, actually, I'm looking at everything. That's the biggest report next week. It's just Fed decision Wednesday afternoon. And then jobless claims Thursday morning. That's the milestone or stake in the ground for next week. This week, we've got PMI in just a couple of minutes here, ISM manufacturing PMI, and then payrolls and unemployment tomorrow morning. Those both could slightly move the market and create sentiment change. So this week, like I said, is going to be chaotic. You remember that when we mentioned that? Boy, and sure was chaotic. And I don't even know what to do with the GDP number. It's pre-recessionary print. Will take 3 months for us to get the next print and to know if it's negative. If it is negative, then that is recession. And positive, it's technically not recession. But it is scary enough to be pre-recessionary. It's scary enough, but look at the stocks. I mean, setups still are here. There are things looking good, and you've got to follow the stocks. Apple, relatively speaking, on the market, not too good. But from the open, like I was saying, it's having a nice open. Nvidia quite beaten down. It's not moving yet. And of course, Netflix is doing fantastic. But this is about where you would want to be with the remainder of your position. Sorry, 50% out overall from your move from the ER Catalyst Day. ER Catalyst Day, probably one of the finest strategy signals a swing trader can use. Tree and then stop at low of the day on Catalyst Day. Have that in the back of your pocket. For trading, and during an earnings season like this, I mean, not like this, but like we have right now, which comes every 3 months, we get this swarm of earnings releases. And you got to keep your eye out on the good names, on the liquid names, kinds of breakout entries. It's like Microsoft. It was good because it broke above several pivots, areas we were watching, and it's actually retraced almost 70% of the whole pullback area. So here's the high, here's the low, and here's where we just hit today. It's like 75% off of the lows and 20 off of the highs of the pullback size in price. But that's a great sign. I mean, that's a hell of a ER reaction. Very nice. And it could easily get up and try and test new highs. All the technology that it has and all the upgrades that the wind is at its back. Okay, 20 seconds until we get that PMI number, which is, I'd say it's a mildly market moving, but it looks like the market is very scared of it. It's being very careful. That's coming 10 seconds, 9 seconds, 7, 5. Let's see how the market reacts. I believe maybe it's already out. Okay, 49 is actually a positive print. 48.7. It's good. It's actually good. Okay, see, the market's reacting positively. Got ourselves a good economic data point. So far, the market's taking it that way as well. You'd never know because things can be quite complex with economics. Sometimes you get this incredible report and the market just starts tanking. You're like, what the hell's going wrong? And, and sometimes you won't be able to make sense of it, just so you know. The saying is the market can remain irrational longer than you can remain solvent. So don't go fucking around going like, well, I'm just going to hold through it until I can figure this out. Oh, the market will just wipe you out. It doesn't care. It'll just wipe you out in the meantime. And then 6 months later, when you finally figure out what the hell went wrong and you've lost all your money, now you know. You should have just stuck to your risk management, not your news guessing. We do as best we can. I mean, but you don't stick to it. Not at the cost of your money. Have a thesis, but trade the charts, guys. The market is always right, they say. The chart is always right. That's the way I like it. The chart is always right. All right, you guys, it's top of the hour. This is looking okay. Let's see how this fleshes out. It's going to take an hour. You know, and I'll be back in the group. Let's go back into the group and we'll be able to talk to each other in there. If you have any tickers you want me to look at, you let me know. Rivian, LNG, NRG, SFM, EQT, JBL, Rivian, FFIV, SE, waiting on, and that's apparently doing well today. That's a very similar type of situation on SE. What's the volatility is still pretty wide on that. It has tightened up a little bit. It's a little bit too wide. Hasn't calmed down enough on SE. You're just going to get whiplash. Right there, yeah, it needs to settle in, but that's a pretty good looking base on other than the fake out. Fake outs that are followed by shakedowns usually provide excellent re-entries. That would have been like right here. Fake outs followed by shakedowns. Fake out, shake down. A shakedown is a breakdown that shakes people out. Breakdown of this pivot. Fake out is a breakout of the pivot that fakes people out, traps them, sucks them under. And then, they get out here on the breakdown. And that also might cause others who have gotten in at a lot of these different spots to get out. And it just shakes everybody out. Everybody gets shaken out. It's a shakedown. And then all those shares trade hands into new buyers in the shakedown bounce area. And then when it's coming back up, no one's interested in selling. Why? Because everybody already got out who's in pain. Everyone's basically, it erases this whole region. Let's see if I could black square. But how do I make it filled? Oh, that's cool. I can make it half filled and full filled. Not that one. Well, anyway, it's almost as if this entire area. Anyway, that whole entire area. No, that's not it. This whole entire area is eliminated. And so, if you can just, I don't know if you can do it, but with your mind, if you can sort of erase this. I wish I could put black here. I don't know. Erase that from your mind. Then what you really have is, this going on. And little return. Now we've broken out and we're running. Because everyone who was in here got out. I mean, they all just got scared to hell. And buying happened right here at the 200 SMA bounce. I mean, this whole thing looks really good on SE. We do have earnings coming up, though. So that's something to think about. All right. Yes. Have a good morning, everybody. Each other posted. Stay alert and um, stay sharp. Okay. Have a good morning. Bye bye now.